Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrac and Kole. This podcast is a conversation between two business partners, Joanne Kandrac and Kelly Kole. Join us for a lively conversation about all things interior design, from current projects, trade show experiences, worldwide travel, what's in, what's out, and all the challenges and wins they've had running their successful design business. Whether you're a seasoned interior designer, new to the industry, or a creative enthusiast, you will walk away with insightful information, newfound inspiration, and a smile on your face after listening to these two. And here they are, Joanne and Kelly.
Hey everybody, welcome to Inside Design with Kandrac and Kole. And today we're talking about what's in and what's out.
Yes.
You know, it's funny because trends come and go.
Yep.
But the classics will always be fresh and updated.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people are very interested in knowing what these are because before they spend their hard-earned dollars on products, they want to make sure that they're going to stand the test of time.
Yep.
So in regards to these items, I would say I would stick to the classics for the high ticket items and more trendy stuff for the accents. So we're going to go through several of the what's ins and what's out. And it's funny because trends, whether you realize it or not, they eventually start. If you start to see something over and over, it starts to grow on you.
Yes.
Like, haven't you ever had something where you see something new, or whether it's fashion or whatever, and you're like, oh, that's so weird. And then like 3 months later, you're wearing it.
Yeah. Now, that happens to me all the time with colors.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
So, and there's certain things like subway tile that is a classic. And there's certain things like fabric patterns, but what ends up happening is they switch them just a little bit. So it makes them look fresh and new. So anyway, we're going to go and give you all the scoop on that.
Yes. All right. So before we dive into that, we want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by our friends at Norwalk Furniture. And you guys probably know by now that we source a lot from Norwalk, and we do so for a number of reasons. One being that Norwalk builds heirloom-quality furniture rather than landfill-quality furniture. And that is super duper important to us. You know what that's called? Sustainable. So that's the true definition in our view. So they are doing their part to create healthy homes and environments. And it's really one of their core principles. So we always want to be a part of that in any organization that claims that. So another reason why we love Norwalk is that, unlike a lot of other manufacturers, Norwalk has a particularly fabulous array of patterns and bright, fun fabrics that partner with their performance fabrics and their leathers and their textures, and that's a big deal for us because we're always kind of looking for that ooh or ah fabric. So if you're in the trade, you should really, really check out Norwalk Furniture. Their website, norwalkfurniture.com, is particularly great. They have this 360 design tool that can help you visualize all the pieces when you're putting them together. And they are now shipping in under 8 weeks. So whether you're at Dallas Market, Vegas, High Point, check them out.
And they will be at Atlanta Market this January.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love really quickly is when you're just starting a project and you're looking for some inspiration, well, you can go to the Norwalk fabric and you start to flip through, and there's so many good ones. There's so many colors. And you can't say that for all the manufacturers' fabrics. And you go through and you find that beautiful one, and then that just sets the tone.
Yes. So thank you, Norwalk.
So let's start with what's in and what's out. And I will tell you the number one of what's in. Okay. You ready?
I'm excited.
And I don't think it's ever going to go out.
Yeah.
And it is wellness, sustainability, and eco-friendly products. It is a hot topic right now in the interior design world.
Yes.
So
COVID driven, probably,
yes,
for the most part, but it's just, I'm glad. I think it's here to stay. And I hope it is.
So natural materials.
Yes.
Stone, wood, things that are
metals.
Yes. That are just, and they're so organic looking. And so that look is very in. And then the environmentally friendly products. And there's a lot of talk, and I understand with the carpet and the VOCs and paint. And so people are becoming very aware. And so it is trendy, or it's in to be aware.
It's in to care, but you should care. And you should really ask and I don't think people do this, because I don't think that it's not first and foremost when you go to look at a product. You got to dig for what that material, what that product is made of, where it came from, how it was ethically or not, manufactured. You got to really dig for that. The companies that are doing it well, it's on the forefront. It's on their homepage. They're screaming it from the rooftops. And so you might want to think about that. If this company, if I have to really dig and dig and dig for, where was this product made, and is it going to live in a landfill for the next 40 years, 50, 100 years, maybe I shouldn't be buying that.
And you'll see some of these other things that are very related to this. But some of the other things when it comes to design is like maximizing natural light.
Yes.
That's considered wellness. I know there's the circadian rhythms and how light affects people. I know it definitely affects me.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, if you're looking for a new home, look at the amount of light that it gets. Some people don't think about that, and it can be very depressing. So it's all about feeling good in your spaces. And then we're doing a lot more like places for restoration, where you have that little area, and a lot of women like their little cocktail room or like the music room, or a place to just go and kind of chill out without the hubbub of the busy family stuff going on.
I think that's important. And I think everybody has a room in their house that you're kind of like, what do I do with this room? We have a lot of still those floor plans in Atlanta with that front living room or even the front dining room. Nobody's using their dining rooms a lot anymore, although that is coming back. So yeah, I think that we're starting to do a lot more wellness rooms for mostly women, but men should be doing it too.
We're working on one for a man right now. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
He's into Pilates.
Yeah. We're very excited for him.
Okay. The second one. And I actually love the name of this. It's called Quiet Luxury. And if you're in our world, you'll see it a lot. A lot of people that are talking trends or what's happening in our industry. Quiet luxury. And what that means is more meaningful items. High quality things that are made to last. So none of this fast furniture, none of this fast anything,
disposable crap,
just really high quality, beefy, meaningful stuff.
And if you're saying to yourself, well, I move a lot, or I just don't have that budget, or whatever, buy one piece a year. This is funny. I didn't tell you this, but I was looking around my house the other day. I was alone for the weekend, and I was just tinkering, and I was thinking to myself, the next time I move, what will I bring with me to my next house? And of course, we get things easily, and we can buy easily. But honestly, the things that in my entire house that I would keep are my antiques.
Yeah.
And I've got like little antiques like in every room. My house here in Atlanta is kind of, actually it leans to the contemporary side, but I've got a lot of vintage pieces mixed in, and honestly, those are the ones that I would keep.
Yeah, it's the truth.
And they're high quality. They're 75, 100 years old, and they're beautiful.
Yeah. And moving on to our next one, which is vintage, which I think falls into that whole eco-friendly, because you're saving things. But I think the vintage and the one-of-a-kind pieces are what make your space look more interesting and have more soul to it, I guess.
100%.
The very flashy, quick, and they call it fast furniture. It just doesn't have that warmth and coziness is what I think. And that's what I think people want, but they don't think about it. And I'll tell you what, you can find great deals on antiques.
Oh, it's crazy.
And
I think, and you're right about the story. I remember, and I'm sure you do too, I needed a dresser for my bedroom, but I didn't want the typical, 6 drawers and what have you.
Yeah.
And I ended up buying a dining room sideboard. We were together.
Yes.
And it's one you've seen a million times, but I had it lacquered in this very, very warm gray. And then I put unlacquered brass hardware on it. And I love that thing. And I will always have that. Even if it's in a guest room in the back of the house, I will always have that piece. And I remember everything about it. I remember finding the painter to paint it. Remember?
Yep.
I remember agonizing over the hardware. I remember when you and I found it together, and I think it was $280 when I bought it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to do something that I've never done before.
Okay.
And I don't want to feel like Kelly from the Kelly and what's her
Oh,
husband's
yeah.
name?
Ripa. You're going to drink your coffee?
The coffee's sitting right here, and it's so cold here in Atlanta that I just want to take a sip. I'm not trying to be like one of those.
Okay,
people.
you go. I'll bring up the next in is color.
Okay.
There you go. Feel good? You can keep drinking it. That's good. Is color. And we've been talking about this. We've seen it more in High Point and the shows. But you know what color is really coming in hard is brown. Yeah. And we're seeing it in clothes too.
I've seen it in several clothes lately. It's just so different from what we've been with black for so long, and black
gray
is a classic. But once again, it depends on how it's mixed. I don't think people are going to be painting their, trim brown or anything like that.
No.
But you're seeing that come through. Of course, the green, and like a lot of different shades. The darker, that pewter green from Sherwin-Williams is a beautiful one. The sagey greens. And even like the emerald greens, like you're seeing a lot of green in kitchen cabinets.
And I'm about to do that in my house. I'm searching for the perfect green. I have a lot of Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore colors coming my way to figure it out. Yeah, but it goes well. The brown and the green, they also go well with the other color that we're seeing so much of, which is the rose and the plums and the reds and a little bit of blush all mixed in. They're warm and cozy, but feminine and sophisticated, and I just I
and
love
coral and persimmon to me are like the happy colors mixed in with that brown. So I think it's all great.
Yep.
Now
Definitely.
This next one, I think this one's very exciting.
Yes, I do too.
And I like to because I think when we say this to people, they're like, really?
Yeah.
So they're more attention to underestimated spaces.
Yes.
So we're talking foyers, hallways, laundry rooms.
Yes.
Because we don't usually think about those spaces. Well, maybe a laundry room. We'll usually do wallpaper, or we'll do a cool tile floor like we have in this image right here. Russ has just pulled up. But hallways, you think, what's the big deal? But you know what? You can make some hallways, either with a gallery or wallpaper it or do some cool lighting. I think
remember Sue Wadden when she was on talking about color for Sherwin, she was talking about foyers and how during COVID, the foyer became, had a resurgence because people would come into your house and they would kind of stand there in the foyer and wait to see if, I probably can't come into the house. So I'm just going to talk to you from here, and I'm going to have my mask on or whatever. And so we're seeing this resurgence of the foyer just becoming very, very beautiful as a beautiful receiving space, whether it be, a small settee or a pretty pedestal with a beautiful plant or wallpaper.
I love to do in a foyer is to paint the interior door a color. That gives it it feels like then it's like a room. It's not just, if your wood door on the outside is stained, or whether it's a color, you could always do a different color on the inside. And I think that looks really cool.
And so I want you all to go into your foyer right now and look up and see what your light fixture is. And if it's boring, if it's from
1989,
if it's a boob light, you must go change it right away to be a unique statement piece. Even if it's a flush mount, even if it's a small guy, make it something. And then also just take a look at the walls. A lot of times foyers are kind of, you have a starting and a stopping point. So it can be a unique color. It can be a wallpaper. But yeah, I think those underestimated spaces, and they're fun because a lot of times they're small.
They're small and you don't have to spend as much.
Yeah. I love that.
Yep.
What's up?
Biophilic design.
Yep.
Okay. This was a word that not everybody
We talked about this with Verona Eagleson on the
we did
on a show 2 years ago.
It's about nature, plants, that kind of aesthetic.
Yes.
So
just think greenery inside the home.
Yeah. So when we talk about that biophilic design in a home, we're talking skylights, bringing natural light in, living walls.
Yes.
Greenery, water fountains, all that kind of like. It's all about the emotion and the calm and the, bringing greenery.
Oxygen.
I know there's some scientific studies on plants in your home, what it does and all that kind of stuff. So that is very big right now.
Mhm.
And I think once again, I don't know that that's going away either.
I don't think
I
so
think people
either.
always want to be, be around nature, or that makes
Mhm.
them feel good. So it's all about really feeling good in your home, which it always should be.
Always.
Not about just how it looks, but
Right.
how it feels.
And I think a lot of people will say, well, I don't have a green thumb, or I can't keep a plant alive. Google the plants that don't need much care. They're pretty easy. You can have a pothos plant. You can have a snake plant. There's like a good 5 that you really can't kill unless you just leave for 2 months and don't water it.
And there's something about having something living
alive
in a
yeah.
space that really
Mhm.
makes a difference. So like even when we do photo shoots,
Mhm.
that's why we're always doing greenery, things that are alive, because
Mhm.
they really make the space sing for
Yes.
some reason.
Yeah. And if you don't do it that way, maybe you have a small herb garden. Maybe you have, you can get the little lights that inside that'll keep them alive. Maybe you have herbs. Maybe it's just concentrating on bringing the outdoors in. Maybe look around and see if you have heavy blinds or heavy shutters or anything, in your home, and you bring that natural light in and really see what it does to your psyche. It's totally amazing.
Yeah. It really is cool.
Yep.
Now, this is interesting. When I was doing the research for this, it was about different patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, we have seen a lot of chevron and, kind of the herringbone. We've seen scallops. But there were several trend reports that showed checkerboard as being a pattern that
I love that. Well,
trend.
I'm a sucker for a big plaid.
So I kind of like that, but we don't really use the checkerboard.
Yeah,
so
we do
you know what's
more-
going to happen? We're going to start seeing it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just put it into the universe. Our phones heard you, so now
Yes.
it's going to be all over.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But I like that.
So the same thing, like trying to keep things fresh and sort of updated.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just changing, whether it's like the pillows, same thing. If you have some pillows that, maybe, I don't know, that maybe they're floral and they just look dated, put a chevron pattern on there, easy enough to just give it a little lift.
Pattern
Bring
is
it
key.
to the
Pattern is so key. And mixing patterns. People are very afraid of that. But
it's hard for people to do that.
But just keep your eye on, hon, this is what Pinterest is for. This is what Instagram is for. If it's to bring you out of your comfort zone and give you visuals that you can follow. So don't be afraid. Mix the patterns.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep. And then, of course, this is not new, but it's going to be in forever. And that is high tech and smart homes. So there's little ways to do this and big ways to do this. But I think by now, if you don't have a smart thermostat, a Nest or whatever things that you can control from afar with your phone, what have you, you really should, because it'll save you money on your utilities, and it is the smartest thing to do. But,
and then smart appliances, which every year KBIS is actually coming up. The kitchen and bath show is I think at the beginning of February, and every year it feels like there's something new that they keep adding. And then we just had that photo of a little Pebble remote to open and close your blinds. And I will tell you, of course, if it depends on the size of your home and how many windows you have in a room, but literally, if you have 8 windows in a room and you want to open them in the morning, I mean, you're doing it. You're going around and opening, and at night closing them. The Pebble, and we did these for someone, and they only did them in their bedroom. And then after they had them for like 2 weeks, they called back and said, "Oh, we want to do them in the other spaces." It's just one of those things that once you have it, you love it. But more and more people are doing like these smart things that just make your life easier.
My house is so high tech that I can't figure it out anymore. So I will literally call my husband when he's out of town and be like, "Could you please turn up the heat in the house? I cannot figure it out." And he's literally in California, and all of a sudden I hear the heat go on. But
thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, don't be afraid. But yeah, it's just the smartest thing to do.
Smart. Yep,
for sure.
Okay, so what's out? Now, this very first one.
This is the no-no list.
Okay. And some people might not know what this is if they're not in our industry. It's called boucle. Okay. It's spelled Boucle.
I'm going to argue with some of these, but go ahead.
And so it's the last 2 High Point markets. Boucle was everywhere. And it's like a sheepy type of fabric. It's
kind of poodly.
Usually white. Okay. So
there you go.
So it's been, you've seen it so much that it's almost like, okay, you know how they overdo it? I still love it. And some people will say that it's still in. And I think where it's more in is in different colors.
Yes.
So like a green or a caramel color
Mhm.
just makes it feel a little, being all white, it kind of just, it's been so overused.
I think anytime you see something in mass, like in crazy mass, like
showing
farmhouse style, which we'll talk about,
Mhm.
and boucle and the restoration hardware type, design. Anytime you see that in mass for an extended period of time, it's going to go out. People are just going to be like, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
So I love the texture of it. I think boucle was a texture lesson for everybody.
Yes.
I think it really taught people how to not be so flat when they're figuring out upholstery. But yeah, I think that the ivory boucle and all over your house. I mean, maybe California still loves that. And I totally get that. But I do. Yeah. We just put it in a master bath in like a kind of a smoky blue. God, it was gorgeous. Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. But yeah.
Oh, bedroom.
Yes. A bedroom.
Yeah.
Sorry, what'd I say?
Bathroom.
No, bedroom.
Okay. The next one. Once again, it just depends how you feel about this, but minimalism, you'll look at something that say minimalism is in, but it's really considered a little more out because, the all white rooms and all the space. And when we're talking about what was in is all darker, cozier. So it's kind of like, and this doesn't really mean for everybody. I mean, some people like minimalism and they'll look at maximalism and be like, oh, and then a maximalist will look at that and be like, oh, that's so cold. So it just depends where you are. But I think minimalism is more out than it is in, but whatever you like is in, basically.
Yeah. I do agree with that. Don't spaz over this in out list. People like do what you love, but it doesn't surprise me that minimalism is kind of warming up a little bit, because when we saw that traditional was kind of coming back in, the brown woods and the antiques and more, and all the small prints and it's coming. It's that cozier, yummy, like the open concept houses and the full floor plans that were hard during COVID because everybody wanted their individual spaces. And now you're seeing the architects carve out more individual in smaller spaces. It's all circling back. So it doesn't surprise me one bit. Yeah.
Matched furniture. This to me was never in. So,
no.
Going.
But it's amazing how people still ask us.
Well, yeah.
Should I match that? Should the bedside tables match, or should I get the set, or
I think because people don't know. You walk into a traditional furniture store and what do you have? And they're still like this. You got the sofa, you got the love seat, and you got the chair. And it's so what's the word I'm looking for? It's so
Granimals
showroom. it's so furniture showroom looking. I mean, the last thing you want is for it to look like it just came from the showroom at the furniture store. So okay. All right. The other one, modern farmhouse shiplap. Jury's still out on this. Once again, I think if it's really overdone, it's kind of out. Shiplap is one of those that is like a classic. So in certain spaces or in ceilings, things like that. I think it's just that typical farmhouse that's black. That I
when
think
it's everywhere.
Where they're saying that's kind of like going out.
When anything is everywhere, it has a limited life, don't you think?
Yeah.
What was that article that you sent me on Instagram? And that guy was saying it was called Quiet. Remember, it wasn't farmhouse. It was like an elevated. It was like an elevated traditional.
Yeah, I can't remember what he called it, but it
was like quiet luxury or something like that. But it was like modern farmhouse met a very elevated.
Yeah, which to me is a beautiful aesthetic.
Traditional aesthetic, gorgeous. Give it to me all day long. Yeah.
You know what else they're saying is out? We still do a lot of it. And it's just, once again, it all depends. Are the floating shelves, open shelves.
Sorry. Love those.
And I think
they have a place.
Where where it was saying that it was out is the average person does not know how to style them.
Oh, for sure.
And so they end up just looking sort of messy. A lot of people, if they're not using their whatever's up there every day, it gets dusty.
Okay.
So there's the arguments for that, but I think
get
they're
it.
beautiful. We just installed some yesterday and they just made
Stunning.
such a huge change in the room. So once again,
Maybe have them professionally styled.
All right.
Well, these were never, well, I guess they were.
They were the wood signs.
Mm-hmm.
Please, please, please make them stop.
If you see anything ever that says live, laugh, love, run.
Yeah.
Just run.
I know. And I know.
Or the big ones that say laundry.
Yeah.
I think you're pretty sure you're in your laundry room.
Cucina,
so I don't know why it has to say, laundry or cucina.
And I know the intention was really good.
Yeah.
But one of the houses I was in yesterday was like, we do sharing, we do, cupcakes, we do, and it's sweet, but no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last one, industrial design.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really see that anymore.
Yeah, it's
You're
interesting.
Not seeing those Edison bulbs.
I still see a lot of Edison bulbs, but not maybe in like the real gritty.
If you're in a loft in a urban city, I think it all looks great. But I think for a little while, the average residential home was starting to try to do that.
Uh-huh. I think if it's kind of like elevated European vintage, I'm all in. Like Schwung Home and High Point, I'm all in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that kind of typical PVC pipe and
But I will say in this whole conversation, even timeless design needs updates every now and then.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, if you haven't done anything for the last 5 to 8 years, you're probably okay if you just sort of are. Mm-hmm. But once you're 10, 12, if you haven't done anything in your home, you
might want to look around.
You may need to throw some of these kind of things to make it look a little fresher because it's probably looking a little tired and dated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think the best way to do that is grab a friend or a relative that hasn't been in your house in a long, long time and just walk the house with them and look at the house through their eyes. And you will see things that you didn't see yesterday. Yeah. And I try to do that, but I'll grab Joanne because we don't really walk into each other's houses that often. Really so she was over the other day and I was like, come look at this and tell me, what you think. Because I've looked at it so much. I need you to just give me a fresh
sometimes
look.
you just can't come up with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have time to I was just going to recap these colors of the year.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So we just did a quick recap of, different people do the colors of the year, the paint companies, Pantone, whatever. So Pantone came out
This is 2024 colors, right?
2024. Okay. Yep. Came out with peach fuzz. This peach, maybe it's going to be in something, but it's not really in interior design right now.
I'm sorry, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's because it's too,
I'm just going to say
it's more orange than a blush. So, and I don't really like that.
No.
All right, but it's unusual that a lot of the navies are blues. So Benjamin Moore had Blue Nova.
What was that color like? Was it steely? I think it was.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, I like it.
Sherwin-Williams Upward.
Yes,
that's really a pretty
kind of like a
coastally,
very coastal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Bear Cracked Pepper. Like they're looking at the dark ones.
I like that.
And then there is an HGTV home color that's Sherwin-Williams, and that was that persimmon. And it's a little nicer than the peach fuzz, but it's not as corally as maybe. Yeah.
I like persimmon. I don't love This is just my personal opinion. I don't love persimmon by itself. But I love it when you put it with the blush and the mossy green and maybe a little tiny splash of blue. Oh, it's just the most beautiful combination. I really love it.
Yeah. So there you have it. What's in an app for 2024? That
was quick and dirty, but we'll see. We'll see. We're right in the midst of Vegas market, Dallas market, High Point's coming, the whole 9 yards. So you can test us and see if you see what we see or what we say you'll see.
Yes. Okay. Ready for quotes?
Yes.
You can do the funny one since you're doing dry.
Okay. Air. Instead of dry January, I'm trying lie January. It's where you try to find times to lie down because it's cold and dark and I'm pale and January has 247 days in it. I'm trying to take more naps. It's lie down January.
Yes.
And that's from Mommy Wine Time
They have some
on
really funny.
Instagram.
They have some really funny ones, too.
Hilarious.
Yes,
Yep.
they do. Now this quote,
January has 247 days. So true. My sister's doing dry January. Well, I'm doing dry January too, but she's doing it. She calls, she's like, it's day 9. I'm dying. Like, isn't it getting a little
it's
easier
only
though?
9 days in.
No.
Okay, I don't know who to give credit to the serious quote, but I absolutely love it.
Yes.
It says, you need people in your life that are further ahead than you, people that have a bigger vision, people who are more experienced, people that are out of your league. You need to be exposed to new levels so that you can go to new levels.
I
So
absolutely
true.
love
So
that.
True.
My one caveat to that would be that person still has to be in your comfort zone. You know what I mean? Like,
And
you don't
willing
want to be
and willing to hang out with you.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to be
Yeah.
trying to be something you're not to hang out with that person. But yeah, I think I love hanging out with especially friends that are smarter than me and have better fashion sense than me.
That's why she hangs out with me.
Yeah. Because I'm like, what are you wearing? What are you doing? What are you reading? Who are you? I want to be you. Yeah. So there you go. All good.
Okay.
Well, stay warm, people. It is literally like
Girls
16
everywhere.
degrees here in Atlanta. And we are heading out now to morph into stylists and florists because we have a 2-day photo shoot the next 2 days. And so, yeah, that's what's up.
Mhm.
Hope
Well,
you're staying warm.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Join Joanne and Kelly for a new episode every other Friday as they continue to explore the nuances of the interior design business with the goal of informing, inspiring, and entertaining their listeners. See their work at Kandrac-Kole.com and engage with them on Facebook and Instagram at Kandrac Kole.